Do we have too much government?
We need to put people ahead of corporate profits.
This system is so lopsided. This threat is a real threat to democracy.
And I think that's really important. That's something we haven't been doing in this country for a long time.
Where do you start? What do you do? How do you do it?
Access to Democracy and other Eagan community television programming is supported by Thomson Reuters, makers of Westlaw Next and based in Eagan. Through Westlaw Next and other innovative online services, Thomson Reuters is the world's leading source of intelligent information for businesses and professionals. Online at thomsonreuters.com. And by U.S. Federal Credit Union, the member-owned financial institution offering service, value, and experience you can trust to the greater Twin Cities community.
Welcome. Access to Democracy returns. I'm Alan Miller, your host, return guest today. And Bill Raker's been a guest at least a half dozen times. World-renowned credit union official. Well, you are.
You're very kind, Alan.
Bill doesn't talk about himself. He's the president and CEO of U.S. Federal Credit Union. He's had a long career in banking, data processing, and credit unions. He's been the president of U.S. Federal for almost 20 years now. It started with $200 million in assets. Today, it's well over $1.1 billion. They have 8 offices, just moved the Lakeville office to a new location. They are opening 2 new offices in 2016. Bill is on executive committees and has won awards, not only all over the country, but throughout the world. And he won't talk about himself ever, so I've got to do it for him. I might also say he's a close personal friend. And in addition to all that, U.S. Federal Credit Union was our very first sponsor more than a dozen years ago. And what I have to announce today is that this will be the last program that U.S. Federal Credit Union sponsors Access to Democracy. But there's a bright side, and we're going to talk about the bright side right now. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Alan. It's a pleasure for me to be with you today, and thanks for the opportunity to be on your show for a very, very exciting program, I think, because, as you alluded to, this is the end of the sponsorship of the program by U.S. Federal Credit Union, but a transition to the sponsorship of the program by a new named credit union. And we're
The Successor Credit Union.
Successor Credit Union name. We're especially excited to be able to share with you and your viewers. This is the first public announcement of our new brand and our new name, and you get the exclusive on that today.
And I mean, it was a secret. I was told months ago that this was coming. I did every trick in the book that I could think of to have the name disclosed to me, and if I ever wanted to hire somebody as a spy, it would be Bill, because he would not tell me, and I didn't know until a day or so ago.
Well, we had our reasons for doing that. But if I may, I'd like to share with our viewers, with you, a little of the history of our credit union, because that's the background for how and why we built up to today, where we're transitioning to a new brand and a new name.
And it was the first credit union in the state of Minnesota.
1925, when we were organized by the postal employees in Minneapolis. And on that date, we changed the financial landscape in Minnesota forever, because we became the first financial cooperative in the state. We had state charter number 1. And for many, many years, our field of membership was the postal employees in Minneapolis. And as the credit union grew and as the need for credit union services continued to expand, we expanded our field of membership to take in other federal agencies that were in the Twin Cities area, like the FAA, the Social Security, the Federal Reserve Bank, and served the federal employees throughout the entire state for a number of years, and changed our name at that time from Minneapolis Postal Employees Credit Union to Minneapolis Federal Employees Credit Union. And that was our moniker for many years. And then in the 1980s, when Republic Airlines was acquired by Northwest Airlines, both of those airlines had credit unions, but the credit unions were not a part of the merger or the acquisition.
So it wasn't compatible.
The two credit unions weren't compatible. And so Republic Airlines Credit Union was looking for a white knight, so to speak, that they could merge into so that they could continue to have credit union services for their members. And Minneapolis Federal Employees Credit Union was open and willing and able to do that. So we merged in Republic Airlines Credit Union. And along about the same time, Control Data employees, remember Control Data of years gone by, was looking for...
Which is now Ceridian Corp.
The survivor is Ceridian, yes. So Control Data was looking for financial services for their 50,000 employees, and they, instead of starting their own credit union, they chose to go into the field of membership of an existing credit union. Minneapolis Federal Employees Credit Union was state chartered and state supervised at that time, but the state supervisor would not let Control Data join the field of membership. So the Credit Union Board of Directors made the decision that they would switch their charter from a state charter to a federal charter. And in the process of switching to a federal charter to be able to take in Control Data employees, merge in the Republic Airlines Credit Union, we changed our name to U.S. Federal Credit Union. And that's what our name was for many years. For a number of years, we served what were called select employee groups, meaning that the employees of employers, businesses that were in our field of membership were eligible for the services that we offered. But in the early 2000s, 1999, 2000, we made the decision to open our field of membership to the community. And so we switched to a community-based charter and opened our membership roles to anyone who lives, works, worships, goes to school, or volunteers in the 7 counties around the Twin Cities area. So that gave us a much
Including
more,
relatives of those people.
the immediate family members of those people as well. So that gave us a broader field of membership, a more diverse field of membership, and since we were moving away from the discrete groups of employees, like no longer serving only postal employees, no longer serving only federal employees, but taking in a whole community, we felt that there was an opportunity, even a need, to better identify with our current members and with the potential members that we want to serve in the future by getting a name that was much more open and much more welcoming. Because most of the time, many times, when talking with people about U.S. Federal Credit Union, the assumption, and logically so, was that, oh, your credit union serves the federal employees here in the state. Well, that used to be our field of membership, but it isn't any longer.
Decades back now.
Decades ago. So the name U.S. Federal Credit Union was sort of an obstacle, sort of a hindrance to being able to identify with our field of membership and our potential members. So the board of directors and the management team made the decision that we would undertake an initiative to rebrand ourselves and to have a new name that would be associated with this new brand that would better identify who we are and who we serve. So the renaming and rebranding process took us well over a year to do, something like 14 months. We started with doing research with focus groups with our existing members and with potential members to find out what our current brand value was and how we could leverage that. So we took that input from the research and working with members and potential members and started the process.
We should mention that credit unions are owned by the members,
Yes,
by the
yes,
depositors,
yes, by-
as opposed to banks. And credit unions, in effect, can do anything that a bank can do in terms of an individual.
In terms of financial services
Yeah.
to individuals and to businesses and companies as well.
Right.
Yes. Being a member-owned financial institution, we exist to provide services and benefits to our members, their families, and the communities in which they live and which they work.
It's an important distinction that a lot of people don't realize, but it certainly is one that we should focus on.
Yes, that's an important differentiation from any other financial institution that serves the consumer. That's exactly right. So working with a national firm who has done the rebranding and renaming process for some 70, 75 other credit unions across the country, our employees, our board of directors, and the management team worked with this organization to develop rebrand ourselves, and we have a new mission statement. We focused on our core values. We investigated and identified the primary market segment that we wanted to focus on for future growth. And when we got through all of those things, then we had the foundation and the criteria for what the brand was, who we wanted to be, how we wanted to be perceived in the marketplace, and we needed a new name to go along with that.
Now, this is not an easy procedure, particularly because of federal regulations and things like that. So I can see easily where it took 14 months. I would think it would have even taken longer than that because you've got to pass the scrutiny of a lot of outfits.
There are a lot of steps along the way, exactly. So we formed a naming team of some 13 people that represented all of the stakeholders from the board of directors through all of the ranks of the management and employee staff that we have. And there was a total of over 12 hours in 3 different sessions that we worked on drilling down to what we wanted this new name to be. We had certain fundamentals, certain basic criteria, like we didn't want it to be a made-up word. A lot of institutions, organizations will make up words that constitute their name. We didn't want to do that.
I heard yesterday that there's a credit union someplace called Lover's Lane Credit Union.
Well, that's not a made-up word, but
No, but
that's an interesting name. I'm not sure what their field of membership would be, but
I was wondering myself when I heard
how
that.
their name identifies with their field of membership. So we wanted a real word. We wanted the name to be one word, not 2 or 3 strung together. It had to be a name that we could trademark, get a federal trademark on it so that it would be protected.
Which would eliminate a lot of names right off the bat.
A lot of words went out the window, so to speak, when we went through this process. We started with about 240 potential names, and we drilled down through those over the process of the 3 sessions and the 12 hours of work that we went through with the committee, and finally came down to the final 3, one of which we could not get a trademark on, and so we had to discount that one. The second one we felt in further reflection really didn't represent totally what we were looking for, and so we ended up with the one word that we chose to be our name and to be reflective
By now,
of our
everybody
brand.
is on the edge of their seats. What is this one word?
Well, we have been building up to that, but keep in mind that the name is designed to reflect who we are and what our mission is, and to show that we are an open and welcome organization for anyone in the community to come in and do financial services with. So I think we're ready
We have a video.
to do the reveal, and in order to do that for our viewers, I'd like to ask them to roll the video, and you'll see what our new name and what our new logo is, and you'll see why we're very excited about what we've done.
Life is full of surprises. Endless possibilities. Small obstacles and big successes. In life, opportunities are everywhere, and every day brings something new. It's a chance to do something special, a chance to make a difference. That's what we do. We make things possible. For our members, for their families, and for their futures. We give people the power to chase their dreams by delivering the financial solutions they need to get ahead. It's what we've done since 1925, and we'll continue to do it for years to come. Today, our organization has a new spark, a guiding light to lead the way forward. Welcome to Firefly Credit Union. Firefly is a name that's full of energy and optimism. It reflects our spirit and connects who we are to our Midwestern roots. At Firefly, we guide our members forward by providing resources that put their interests first with exceptional service that makes them feel at home. And we continually work together to build a stronger community for an even better tomorrow. At Firefly Credit Union, we light the way for our members, our organization, and our community because it's our job to make things possible. We are Firefly Credit Union, and this is Life Illuminated.
There we have it.
What do you think?
The secret is out,
The secret is out.
and very interesting. Firefly.
Firefly. For those of us in the Midwest who really, know what fireflies are, they're really interesting specimens. They're fun. They're warm. They're welcoming. They're fascinating. They provide a light, a beacon. We felt like all of those descriptors kind of fit who we are, what we want to be, and what we want our members to think
Can't
of
you
us.
remember being a kid in the evening and trying to run out with a jar and capture some fireflies?
Oh, yes, I do remember doing that.
That's,
Yes. That's the kind of memory, the kind of emotion that we think this name, this brand will bring to mind. I got to tell you, when we revealed the name and the brand to our 200 employees at the credit union, we did this in the early part of December. We closed the office for the afternoon. We took all of our employees up to Varsity Theater and just had a great time explaining the process in more detail that we went through to arrive at this name. And the
we're
reveal...
talking about several hundred employees.
200
also.
employees, yeah. And so when we got to the point of revealing the name, we did it with this very video. And the emotions ran really high. There were tears because of the emotion in that video and the connection between the message and the name and what our credit union stands for and what we do. So it was really an exciting time, and we just couldn't be more proud of what we've done and what we're going to do.
And an attractive new logo, certainly. It's a lot easier, as a lot of credit unions are going down to one-word names. And I can see, rather than U.S. Federal Credit Union, especially because people confused it with being associated with federal employees.
Yes, yeah.
This certainly puts that to rest. And but it's a tremendous job. You now have to really rebrand everything, from stationery to everything, to the buildings.
Yes, The real hard work is just now beginning. The exciting work was going through the process of developing the brand and developing the name. Now, with the implementation of it, there is so much to be done. You've named a few of the things, obviously, to go through. You know, we have to have new business cards, new stationery, all of the signage on the buildings, our 8 offices around the Twin Cities needs to be redone. We're refurbishing the internal parts of our offices so that the merchandising reflects the brand that we have. We're redoing our web page. All of our plastics, our credit cards, debit cards, ATM cards, all have to be reissued. You know, all of our identity on social media has to be recrafted. All of those are fun things, but it's a lot of hard work. We figure it will take us the better part of 2016 to get most of all of that done. And then, of course, you know, we're planning on...
Access to democracy.
Access to democracy will have a new logo as well. We'll see it again in the video before we close out the show, but all of our employees are just really excited about what we're doing and couldn't be more committed to the message that we want to get out to the Twin Cities community here about who we are and what we can do for our members and their families in the community.
And it's quite a big coup. I really can empathize with what you have gone through to get to this point, and it's the culmination of a dream for certainly you and the board of directors, and and I'm well aware of that.
This is one of the highlights of my 19 plus years career as the CEO of the credit union. So we feel really good about it. Yeah, it's one of the highlights.
Now you're going to be reissuing credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about 6 months ago about new credit cards which have chips in them.
Yes.
Will these be included?
They will, yes. All of the cards will come with the new EMV chip, the European MasterCard Visa technology chip. That's the latest thing in plastic card security.
And it's a much safer way.
It's much safer than just the stripe that we've been accustomed to swiping. But the communities have a long way to go because not all merchants are equipped to use the chip yet, even though most of the cards that are in circulation these days are chip equipped. That comes with some time as well because there are investments that they need to make, there's training that they need to go through. But we're certainly moving the consumer and the payments industry in the right direction with the chip card.
Well, especially in this time of where we need cybersecurity, where we see that hackers break into things. Fortunately, not U.S. Federal, Firefly, excuse me. Lost my head there for a moment.
Yes, no more U.S. Federal, it's Firefly now. Thank you.
Talk about cybersecurity. Talk about, we have a little bit of time left. You can really talk about what people can do to make themselves more secure.
Well, that's certainly an important topic. Every day, more and more things in our lives becomes digital. You know, we're talking about the connected home, the connected automobile. Everything in our lives is connected to something else. And every one of those devices out there is potential for some hacker to get into and to learn compromising data about us and use it in a fraudulent way. There are so many things that the consumers need to do. Let's just talk about the financial piece for a minute. You know, every account needs to have a secure password on it. We highly recommend and we require in our organization that every password be at least 8 characters long, that it be a combination of lowercase, uppercase, numeric, and special characters. I've got so many passwords I can't remember them all, which is also becoming a problem. So I think we may be seeing a transition to other types of identification than a password, like a thumbprint, an eye print, even facial characteristics are unique enough that we can identify people that way.
Down the road, that's coming.
That's coming. So you need a complex password. If your computer at home should be loaded with antivirus, anti-malware protection software. Make sure that all of the software that you're running, like Windows or Microsoft Word or something like that, is of the current version, because that's more secure than the older versions. Don't share your password with anyone, and don't put any kind of personal information out on social media that people would be able to use to identify you. And I'm talking about things like birth dates, or your address, or your phone number, or certainly not one's social security number. Be
sure.
very, very cautious, very careful what kinds of information you put about yourself out on any social media space.
Well, an exciting time for us, for you. Farewell, U.S. Federal Credit Union. Welcome, Firefly Credit Union. Welcome and hello to our new CEO.
Thank
Our
you.
old CEO, new CEO of Firefly. And as we're signing off, let's show that video one more time. Bill Raker, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing it with us on this program, the first public announcement. And we certainly wish you and the credit union the very best in the years to come.
Thank you, Alan. Yes, let's see the video again.
Life is full of surprises. Endless possibilities. Small obstacles and big successes. In life, opportunities are everywhere, and every day brings something new. It's a chance to do something special, a chance to make a difference. That's what we do. We make things possible. For our members, for their families, and for their futures. We give people the power to chase their dreams by delivering the financial solutions they need to get ahead. It's what we've done since 1925, and we'll continue to do it for years to come. Today, our organization has a new spark, a guiding light to lead the way forward. Welcome to Firefly Credit Union. Firefly is a name that's full of energy and optimism. It reflects our spirit and connects who we are to our Midwestern roots. At Firefly, we guide our members forward by providing resources that put their interests first with exceptional service that makes them feel at home. And we continually work together to build a stronger community for an even better tomorrow. At Firefly Credit Union, we light the way for our members, our organization, and our community because it's our job to make things possible. We are Firefly Credit Union, and this is Life Illuminated.